Hey man,
Hi, sir. How are you?
good man. But unusual starting at this time. I'm normally used to a 1 p.m. slot, so everything got sorted.
Yeah, everything's sorted. Been a bit of a long day, but finally there's a break.
Okay, cool. Let's get down to South Africa and India. I was hoping to leave that for last because the other two were just, yeah, man. I was putting my yawning face on WhatsApp. Okay, this one really got me all upset. You could see my emotions on WhatsApp. Felt it was India's best chance. I mean, but they made some errors. Like for one, second test was, captaincy, and then obviously second innings bowling not up to the mark. Then, third, yeah, then third test, I think Cody played like a weird shot at the end of that second innings to get out over the first inning. I don't even know. And then the tail enders just didn't support Rishabh Pant, so a lot of runs went begging, and then I don't know what to make of their bowling in the second innings because I think they had their moments, but maybe India is just not meant to win in South Africa, I guess. That's bad luck. They were passing the edges so many times. They were becoming, when I was following ESPN, they were making jokes about it. How many times they kept saying past the edge, past the edge. So, yeah, what are your thoughts, man? You did call it, SA beating India, so congrats on that.
I mean, first of all, congratulations to the Proteas. I mean, uh, everybody. I mean, if you look at the wider cricketing world, this team was written off prior to this Test
Hmm.
series, and I think rightly so at times. Because I mean, if you look at the rankings, India right on top, and then the Proteas, languishing in sixth position. Uh, but you know, if I look back at the series, it's quite interesting because um, if you look at day one at Centurion, and rightly so, the Proteas looked undercooked. I felt
Hmm.
they really undercooked, and it was a lack
Hmm.
of test match sort of action
Hmm.
that they haven't had in a while. But
Hmm.
when they came back the following day, I could see a
Hmm.
change, especially in the way they bowled. And I felt that
Yeah.
bowling ever
Hmm.
since they came back on the day three. I think obviously day two was
Hmm.
washed out. When they came back on day three,
Hmm.
uh, I saw the relentlessness with the ball, and I think they kept it throughout the series. The bowling was
Hmm.
fantastic,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
you know they had to find a few heroes, and they actually did find a few heroes in the series. And I
Hmm.
think the biggest star to come out of the series was Keegan Peterson. I mean, if it wasn't for Keegan's runs, I don't think the
Hmm.
Proteas would have
And
been in the
Bavuma, yeah.
situation that they were in. So
And even
I
Bavuma
think
played well. Yeah.
Bavuma really he took his game to another level in the series. I think he
Hmm.
really improved. Obviously,
Hmm.
he's still that milestone is eluding him, but I think it should. I mean, sooner or later he should pass that mark because he's a good enough player.
Hmm.
But I think when I'm talking about a player that was technically sound in the series, Pavuma is right up there. And then Captain Elgar as well. I think some of those innings that he played in the series, the one in Centurion. I mean, although they didn't win, but it was a crucial innings in the sense that it got him going. And
Hmm.
I mean, the 96 that he played at the Wanderers, I think that was like equivalent to a century. It was one of the great
Hmm.
test innings I felt
Hmm.
under pressure, and everything on the line, the series on the line,
Hmm.
India trying to create history, and
Hmm.
as after that Centurion test, the scheme just rallied and finally got their way back into the series. And I got to give a shout out to Marco Janssen as well. I thought he was fantastic in the series. Um, I mean, debut series for him, and he's such a talent with the ball. If he can score a few runs, I can see him being a genuine all-rounder inside.
Yeah. But
Um,
I remember you were crucifying him on the first day. You were like calling him useless and all that. Why wasn't Olafia playing? I remember that. And then I was telling you,
yeah,
no, there was something about the kid because he was playing for Mumbai Indians. So I was happy to see him play, even if it was at the expense of
look,
India not making
I,
history. But
I,
yeah, it was.
I'll be honest. I'll be with you. And I obviously, I that first day, I mean, he was about all over the show. I
Well, but
think he
that's
didn't get his
expected
control.
debut. Yeah, that's
That's
expected. This
expected,
is debut. Yeah, yeah.
you know.
Hmm.
But I mean, wow,
Hmm.
the way he came back into this
Hmm.
to the series, I mean, he actually surprised me as well with his consistency.
Thanks. I'm looking forward to seeing him play. Remember, I did tell you like I'd like to see him play, and well, he played, even at the expense of India losing. But anyway, that's how it goes. How did you find the pitches in general, man? Because the pitches, I know Sean Pollock wasn't that much impressed. I think Cape Town was the best of the pitches, to be honest. The other two were, yeah, below average. But that's just my opinion on the Wanderers and Centurion. Cape Town, I think, was the better of the two.
Look, I'll be honest with you. I think we've been having these pitches for quite a few seasons now in SA, where
Yeah.
it's been too spicy.
Mm.
And yeah,
Mm.
I mean, it's the sort of pitch that you want to see as a batsman, because I think batsmen they really their confidence takes a big blow on these sort of wickets. But
Mm.
uh,
Mm.
Keegan Peterson and Rishabh Pant as well in this Test match, they
Mm.
showed how to
Mm.
apply themselves. And
Yeah,
Kohli as well in
yeah.
the first inning. I thought he was that
Yeah.
innings he played superb. So I think it's down to
Yeah.
application as well. But definitely
Mm.
the wickets were spicy. I'm not going to lie here and say to you that it wasn't. And I mean, I think it's obvious for all viewers to see that these wickets were spicy. And yeah, I mean, hopefully the next sort of season we get much more balanced wickets. Uh, yeah, it was a bit too bowler friendly for my liking. But I mean, this is a Proteas' strength. Their strength is their bowling at the moment. And I mean, if you look at this team, you wouldn't really say there's any superstars, but they just played as such a unit. I think Dean
Oh,
Elder's
Rabada is
captaincy.
a superstar. Rabada is a superstar, and then that other guy, who's that other guy's name? I forget his name now. I mean, yeah, I think Rabada is probably the only superstar on that team, unless I'm
I
missing
would say
somebody.
so. I would say so. Probably, KG has been at the pinnacle of Test cricket a
Hmm.
few seasons ago. He had a few dips, so
Hmm.
I'm not sure he's at that level where he wants to be, but he was still so effective in the series. I mean, there's some of those
Yeah,
spells that were unplayable.
yeah. I think he
And
bowled a lot less balls. It was quite nice to
yeah,
see.
definitely. And I just felt the Proteas bowling lineup as a unit they were hunting as a pack, and they were
Yeah, you did
sensational.
call it. Yeah, you did call it, hey? You did say their bowling was gonna give India a hard time, and I was trying to diffuse it. But anyway, that's how the cookie crumbles. What else are they gonna bring to
Look,
your attention?
uh,
No, I was thinking that when you have
these
lower
two.
grade, sorry, pardon?
I think there's two arguments to this question here. Yeah, the Proteas bowling was fine. Well, was excellent throughout the series.
Hmm.
But if you look at the Indian batting, I think it's a real cause for concern. Some of those
Hmm.
dismissals
Hmm.
throughout the series.
Definitely.
You know,
Definitely.
I think
Hmm.
if India look back at the series, I think they look back at their batting. Their bowling was right up there with the Proteas. I mean, I'm not going to lie here.
Hmm.
Both bowling attacks were great, but the problem
Hmm.
was their batsmen didn't give their bowlers
Yeah.
enough runs to play with. That is
Yeah,
what it all
loose
came down
batting,
to.
eh?
There was not
Loose
enough runs
batting.
to play with
The
because I
batting was
mean,
loose, as Colin said. Yeah, it's loose batting. I mean, and luck is
yeah, I
common
mean
sense batting also.
it was far too loose.
They didn't have enough courage
I
to
mean,
just block, defend, let Rishabh Pant take as much strike as possible. Pathetic, but it's fine. I mean, you'll batted a lot better in the second innings, especially. So I think you'll deserve to win on that basis. Showed more application, grit, guts. Yeah, but I'm
look,
saying that when the lower grade nations come to South Africa, then we should have at least fair pitches, even if they're more on the batsman friendly side, because our bowling is good enough to win against Bangladesh, which they come down here, or even against who's the other team that's a lower nation? I forget the other name now.
well, I wouldn't really call them lower nations. I just call them a test nation. It's what you make out of it. But Bangladesh, after what they accomplished in New Zealand, I don't think they can be taken too lightly. I think
Yeah,
they've earned some sort of respect at international level, so
but
you
then
really
I
can't
mean,
take them
like,
lightly at all.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I think even if you even if it's more slightly on the batting side, we should still be able to beat them because as long as the pitch has bounce, we can do something with bounce. I mean, our bowling attack should be good enough for them.
I get what you
Yeah,
said. I get what you said. Look,
yeah.
getting back to totals, and if you look at a total, you're trying to set a total.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you get to 300 mark, I think
Mm-hmm.
that's a psychological edge that you have over the batting side that's chasing. And I think India have fallen short on that
Mm-hmm.
regards. I think, you know, the Proteas, they looked at those two chases, the one of the Wanderers. I mean, obviously challenging wicket, but they would have backed themselves because I think their bowling really came to the fore there. And I mean, who would have thought those 20 plus runs that they got as a lead was so crucial in the end? And I mean, this game as well. I mean, India were in the pound seats, I would say, after after both teams had batted in their first innings. They could have really piled it on you, but unfortunately, the batting let them down. And
Mm.
yeah, I think it's a series of missed opportunities. They really you know, they'll really rue their chances with the bat. I would feel, you know, the batting
Yeah.
wasn't really up to mark, and yeah, I think we got to talk about it now. I think it's probably the end of the road for some of these guys here because I've seen a lot of players that have come to SA and, you know, career-ending tours, and I wouldn't be surprised if I see a few new faces in the Indian side, probably some freshening up. Because I mean, look, I mean, the next series is at home against Sri Lanka. You know, you can see India winning that one comfortably. Uh,
Mm.
but
Mm.
it's about going forward
Yeah.
and as a team and
It's a
winning
good time to
those
experiment,
ones.
eh? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a good time to experiment actually, but I think trying to remember now. Oh yeah, okay. The first one day is actually in 4 days time, and I was surprised to see that I think Kohli is going to play in the one day. I didn't expect that, so that was nice to hear. At least it makes it competitive, but I fancy that after being so disappointed by India, I'm just thinking South Africa is going to win the ODI. The confidence must be so high. I mean, they got nothing to lose, so any team that's got nothing to lose will be more, I don't know, on the winning side, I think. But if India won it, it wouldn't surprise me. They are very good on that also. But yeah, I'll give it to SASA 2-1. You?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, I mean, Kohli, he as a captain, I think he's under pressure, especially with the stiff side. So he
He's
want
not
to prove a
captain of the
point in the
ODIs, though,
ODIs.
eh? No, he's not captain
Yeah,
of the ODI.
I
Rahul will be
think
captain.
he want to
Yeah,
prove a point
Rahul will be captain
the
of
ODI season.
his. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He
Rahul
want
will
to
be
prove a point in the
captain. Sorry?
ODI. I'm not surprised, like you, that I mean, I actually thought he was go, going to miss this ODI series, but
Mm, mm,
I
mm,
see
mm.
the last one, and this is Virat Kohli. He can change his mind at any moment. And I think he also obviously going to play the series now. So you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah. Bumrah will
I'm
be
looking at
obviously be
the series
playing. He's
now.
vice captain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at the series now for both teams,
Mm-hmm.
and I just feel it's a series where you can actually, you know, give some youngsters a chance. I think
Yeah.
it's not a bad
The squad.
series.
Yeah,
Bench strength.
The squad looks good. If the Indian squad, I honestly thought the squad wasn't going to look good. They got Ayer, they got Venkatesh Ayer, and they obviously got uh, Lord Thakur. They got Washington Sundar, Kumar Yadav. Should be an exciting series if some of these players do play in the series. And obviously Bumrah will open the bowling style, so that makes a good series. I'm see now. What's the SA squad? They don't show the SA squad here, so I can't make any comments on them. But I think after being disappointed by India, I'm just putting a prediction on SA to win it.
You know, it's a tough one because India have a superb one day squad. I mean,
Mm.
this
Yeah.
test team. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to give some of these players a real confidence going into this ODI series. But we've also got to realize that ODI is a different format, and there's going to be a lot of
Mm.
test players that are not going to be in this in this ODI side. So it's a totally different mindset now
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
going to the ODIs. But you know, obviously, from an Indian point of
Mm.
view, the test was the big one. And obviously they've fallen short.
Definitely.
Morale is going to be a bit low, so they'll have to lift themselves up. And I think this is a chance for the Proteas to actually cash in here on confidence of some of these players.
Yeah.
Some of these players' confidence would be a little bit low. Not necessarily the players that are coming in. I think the players that are coming in are not really going to have that sort of, I think, being carrying that sort of baggage. The players that are coming in from India. But I think some of these Czech players, they feel a little bit disappointed as to how they played in the series, and they'll want to make amends. So, yeah, it's going to be a close series. Hey, it's a tough one to call. Really, really tough one to call.
I'm not sure about
I can see
KL
it.
captain. Yeah. Yes, I'm kind of more towards South Africa. I don't know how KL will be as captain, so I'm kind of feeling more for SA to win it in that sense also. Captaincy will play a part. Also, depends on what pitches we prepare. I know the last time India won a series in South Africa in the ODI, those pitches are more towards India, so I'm sure the pitches will be interesting to see.
Well, I mean, they're playing at Boland Park in the Cape, so I mean, expect that cricket to be real flat pitch. It's going to be a real belter. So I think you're going to be expecting a lot of big scores on that wicket, and it's a small ground as well, so it's very difficult to defend. So yeah, I mean, the Proteas have their work cut out in that ODI series. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. This Indian batting lineup is quite strong in the ODI format. So yeah, I mean, I'm expecting high scores, and I think that's what we actually want from the ODI format at this present moment, because I think that's the one format that's actually feeling a bit at the moment in terms of world cricket. I think Test cricket still has its aura about it. It's still right up there. And I mean, but 50 overs, I think it's taken a backseat for a while, and I'd like to see it rejuvenated with a bit of high scoring affairs. So yeah, I mean, I want to see some runs. I actually see an exciting series.
Yeah, but have you picked a winner, or are you still on the fence?
You know, I'm a little bit on the fence, but I can't see a whitewash for either side. So to me, it either could be India 2-0, India 2-1, sorry, or SA 2-1 at the moment. I really can't see either team clean sweeping the series. So yeah, it could go either way for me. So
yeah, I'm not sure about KL Rahul as the captain, so I'm gonna go with Tender Bavuma. Bavuma's got more calm, well, I would say calm, but got more tactical now. But anyways, he might prove me wrong. So I think we go towards New Zealand now and Bangladesh. I mean, New Zealand, as I expected, won to equal the series, and a nice way for Taylor to retire, picking up the final wicket. So, what are your thoughts?
I think it was a bit of an anticlimax for Bangladesh, I feel. I mean, after the high that they had in the last game, it was very difficult for them to lift themselves up for this game. And, completely outplayed, I think, with bat and ball. I mean, New Zealand showed their class in this game. I think this was a performance that they actually were looking for in the first test, but it didn't come it didn't come to the game. So this is a sort of performance that New Zealand have been dishing out to teams at home, scoring big first innings, and then steamrolling the opposition. They really steamrolled Bangladesh in this game. However, the Proteas are touring their next month, and I don't think they're going to have it that quite easy against the Proteas as they did in the second test. So I'm really looking forward to that series.
Me too, man. Me too. I mean, I'm happy to see the Proteas on the up, and I'm interested to see what pitches New Zealand do prepare, because if the pitches were like the second test against Bangladesh, I think SA will enjoy themselves, especially on the bowling front. And then I think with Dean Elgar showing so much grit, I think he'll just annoy the New Zealand bowlers. And then Keegan Peterson. What are your thoughts of him actually opening the batsman batting and then Marker batting at 4? Do you think that would be too much pressure on Peterson?
Look, I'll leave Peterson exactly where he is at the moment. I think he's solidified that number 3 spot. I think he's going to be there for a while, and I think he's one of those players that are going to be part of this this new era of the Proteas lineup in Test cricket. Aiden Markram, there's a big question mark on his form at the moment. Whether they stick with him, whether they don't. But I just got that funny feeling because the Proteas have won the series that they are going to stick with him. They are going to give him another series. I mean, had they lost the series, this probably wouldn't. We would have been seeing the last of Aiden Markram in this Test team. But I think having won the series has probably saved his butt there. I think towards the end that they're going to give him another run in New Zealand and see if he can actually get those runs. That we haven't seen from him in a while now.
Yeah, I thought, I can know what you're saying about Peterson, but I think there'll be no harm if we did open the batting because he'd been coming in early anyway, so it wouldn't make much difference. And then I think if we put Markram at 4 and then Bavuma at 3, I think that would make it quite a fun situation, especially if you have Keegan and Bavuma batting together, but then I don't think Alga will ever go out early. He rarely goes out early unless you bowl a beauty to him. So I think, I can see it would be quite a stumbling block for New Zealand if we had like Peterson and then Alga and then you had Bavuma next and then fine. Unless you have 3 quick wickets going down, then it becomes a bit of an easy road bowling at Markram. Or maybe not because it depends. The pitch does get a bit flatter. That's a theory though. Not that they'll do it, but it would be a good theory.
It is, but I mean, look at it from this way. I mean, Aiden Markram, when he first came into the Proteas setup in 2017, I think he was obviously set to be the next opener. And I think, I mean, even in domestic cricket, he hasn't played anywhere else besides an opener in first class cricket. So I think him to number 4, that might make him feel a bit uneasy because I think he's a guy that, although he's out of form, he sort of relishes the new ball and he likes to go after the new ball when he's on form. So I think you might as well keep him there. But obviously, I'm going to say this: the New Zealand series probably is his last opportunity to really stamp his authority. He does. I can see I can see a change there up the order. Probably a guy like Sarel Ervia coming in, or Ryan Rickleton, who's obviously the second choice wicketkeeper in the side. But my money is on Sarel to actually take that opening spot if Aiden doesn't come good anytime soon.
Okay, so we get to our last segment, the Ashes series, or I would call it the funeral series. And today is the funeral, day 2. Australia made 303 all out, and then England 188 all out, and then Australia are 37 for 3 with a lead of 152. So if I think Australia make another 150 runs even and above, I think it'll be out of England's reach. Unless England do a Headingley performance, I just think it's going to be 4-0, which in my opinion should have been 5-0 if rain didn't affect Sydney. So that's how I feel about it.
It could have easily been 5-0. And I think that draw at Sydney, I mean, it was quite heroic the way England actually, managed to salvage the draw in Sydney. But I feel that the result in a way overwhelmed them a bit because I think Australia for a large part of the game actually dominated that game. And England towards the end, they just obviously reigned as well. And they showed a little bit of resolve there, which we were expecting from England throughout the series. But it had to take them three matches to actually show us that, which is a little bit disappointing in a way. But it was a good fighting draw in Sydney, and I mean at least they've avoided that dreaded whitewash. But I still think they've been thoroughly outplayed in this series. And I mean this 50th in Hobart, interesting, eh? Having Australia 3 for 12 yesterday after 10 overs, and again they just lost control of the game. Travis Head and Cameron Green just batted freely, one-day mode, and Australia racked up 241 in 57 overs, and that was way too many at going at 4 runs and over. And I mean, you always got that feeling once Australia reached 300 that it was going to be far too many for England, and it proved to be the case. This England batting unit is sort of like a train wreck at the moment. They just can't seem to get partnerships together. They just can't seem to get any sort of momentum together. And I mean, they've just gone back to their old form in the series, 188 all out. I actually expected them to get to do much better in this game, and at least get close to that 300. But yeah, unfortunately, there's a lack of fight in this England side, and I can only see 4-0 at the moment, unless by some miracle, as you said, we see another Headingley miracle. 36 for 3 Australia are, but I mean, realistically, they won 52 for 3 with 152 runs ahead at the moment.
Yeah, and if they get another 150 runs, I think that'll still be enough to bowl England out. And another spicy pitch, eh? I mean, I've never seen such spicy pitches in Australia in a long time. Even against India, I mean, the only spicy pitch there was actually Melbourne. I think afterwards, and I find Brisbane had its moments, but these pitches have been really spicy, eh? I think it's good though in a way because Australia were known for that. So it'd be nice when we come into Australia and those types of pitches. It should be fun.
That is going to be really, really interesting. But I mean, they're playing at Hobart, and Hobart is quite a spicy pitch because I do recall the Proteas played there in 2016, and they bowled Australia out for, I think it was 84 or 85 in that first innings, and they won that game by an innings. So that's a really, really spicy wicket, and all England had to do was put the ball in the right areas. And I mean, for the first session, they actually did that, but I think they just lost control after that. Yeah, I mean, Australian bowling again, very relentless up front. Cummins, Stark. I think Cummins and Stark is giving this England batting lineup a lot of nightmares at the moment. Some of these players, they're not sure where they're going to get their next run from. But I think it was a poor move to bring Pope back into this lineup. I think it was a poor selection, and they've got their selections. I mean, for a large part of the series, they've got their selections totally wrong. I thought Bairstow was the right call in the third and fourth test, and he proved why he is such a highly regarded player. But unfortunately, he's had an injury. But Pope has been struggling in the series big time, and I honestly thought they probably could have looked at another player. I'm not sure who they have in their squad. I'm just trying to figure out because I mean Butler is injured. Who's the other wicket keeper? I'm just trying to. Butler and Bairstow. So yeah, it's a tough one, eh? I just thought they lost the plot here, picking Pope.
I think the problem with England is that they've just been overthinking things, especially with selections, and then I think it didn't help them with COVID that their preparations were messed up. But I think even then, if you look at the pitches prepared in the series, I think England have just lost an opportunity of actually winning it. Look at Brisbane. If they selected with intelligence, they could have had chances there, even Melbourne. Now, even this match. So I think England has themselves to blame. I think if you had asked England at the beginning of the year, if you got pitches like this, I think they would have taken it, or maybe I'm just being fanciful. What do you think?
No, I think you're spot on there. I think the COVID situation hasn't helped them much. They haven't had much match practice going into such a massive series like the Ashes. But also their team selection. I thought Broad and Anderson should have played in Brisbane because if you look at the conditions in Brisbane, especially in day one, Australia skittled England out for 147, and I think the writing was on the wall back then. And there were a lot of experts, including Ian Chappell. I mean, I saw a small segment of him, and he couldn't see anything else but 5-0 because Brisbane was a chance that England had, or either Adelaide, to actually win a test match. And I think they blew their chances big time, especially at Brisbane, because that was the sort of pitch that actually would have suited them, of all the pitches in the series. That was a wicket that they probably could have won the first test. But, I mean, as you said, overthinking things and poor selection. So many things have gone wrong for England in this series. I think the one shining light was Jimmy Anderson saving their test match in the Sydney cricket ground last week. I think that was excellent. Bairstow's century. But apart from that, it's been a train wreck of a series for England. I think there's one they'll want to forget. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I think they're a side that they're a bit one-dimensional. I feel at times
Mm.
because you obviously need to be a little bit more versatile in terms of
Mm.
your team selection and how you handle conditions. And I feel they at back home they really are spoiled when it comes to conditions. And I mean the ball is swinging so prodigiously in England with that Duke's ball. They got so much of swing, so much of movement
Mm.
off the surface that I think when you come to Australia, they really take it for granted because in Australia you really have to work for your wickets. You really got to bang the ball in. You really got to get, you got to find that extra bounce to get those wickets. And I think some of the
Mm.
bowlers that they selected in certain games really didn't give them that edge. So yeah, and the batting as well. I think coming from England and coming to Australia, they're sort of like a rabbit in the headlights. Some of these batters, they just can't handle the bounce. And
Mm.
yeah, I mean, Root's captaincy. I got to speak about it. I think if you look at Dean Elgar as a captain, I mean, still a relatively young captain, but I mean, he's led the side
Mm.
with such grace
Mm.
uh, in the series. But I mean, Joe Root,
Yeah.
I think his captaincy is really going to become under question. I mean, as much as you really don't, I mean, you really can't criticize him for everything, but I think he hasn't been that creative. He hasn't tried to bowl
Mm.
Australia out. I think he's
Yeah.
been too defensive
Yeah.
at certain
Yeah.
times of the
Then
series.
Cap. Yeah. Then Chap was not a
He's not
fan of
really.
Joe Root. Eh? Yeah.
Uh, as I'm saying, I'm not really a fan of him as a captain. I think
Yeah.
there were
Yeah.
much England captains back in the day, the likes of Vaughan and the
Yeah.
likes of Strauss. I would say that Strauss probably is right up there with some of the best captains that England
Mm.
have ever had because I
What
mean
about
what
Cook?
and
How did you find out Cook? The Alistair Cook. He also was captain of England.
yeah, Cookie. I mean, he was an excellent opening batsman. One of the best that we've ever seen in Test match cricket. But as in terms of a captain, I just love the way Andrew Strauss, especially captain England.
Hmm.
I'd say from 2009 up to 2012. I think what he achieved with that side was groundbreaking at times. I mean, winning in Australia, winning in India at that time. That was incredible stuff. And this England side under Joru is so far away from that at the moment. It's not even funny because if I look at 2010 and what they did in 2010 was special. Um, I'd say this Australian batting lineup is much weaker than the side that they had in 2010, and England still can't find a way to get 20 wickets. So that I find a little bit disappointing in regards to the series, and I think they'll look back at it and they'll rue a lot of chances. And yeah, I mean it's going to take something special for them to win back the Ashes in 2023, but we'll wait and see.
2023. That's in Australia or England?
That'll be in England.
Oh no, I expect England will come back and give Australia a tougher time. I know they have to make up for that drawn series back in England, so I think they'll want to win it. And I think if the pitches are as spicy as what they had against India, I'm sure England will win it. Even if it's 3-2. As long as they win that series, that's important. In fact, I like the Ashes more in England than in Australia because at least the matches will be closer. In Australia, it's just a funeral. So I prefer it in England.
I suppose, in a way, you do have a point here, but I'm looking at this England batting lineup. This is a
I'm
side
sure
that
they'll be a
don't
lot
have an
better.
opening pair. The
Yeah,
side
I'm
that
sure they'll be better.
okay, I'm actually able to be a little bit more competitive in England. But I mean,
Hmm.
if you were to ask me right now, with this England side, can this England side compete against the best teams in the world at the moment? And to me, the answer is no at the moment. I don't think they can compete with the likes of India, with the likes of Australia, with the likes of even New Zealand at the moment. This England side is probably down the pecking order at the moment, and they're sliding very fast unless they get the act together. And I think that series against the West Indies as well, it's going to be a crucial one for them. Because I mean, if they do lose that one, I can really see Root, getting axed as the captain, and I can see some.
So you
I can
think West
see a
Indies are
real
going to come to...
cleanup.
No, but so you think West Indies are coming to England for Test cricket?
I think England is going to the Caribbean, so they're going to play the West
I
Indies.
remember. Oh my God, that's going to be interesting. I remember England went to
It's
West
really going to
Indies
be
and lost. Yeah, I remember that series. Yeah, England got blown away by the West Indies, and those...
Yeah, and those pitches really.
Oh, hello? Can you hear me? No, I was saying that the Duke's ball was quite crazy in that West Indies series when West Indies beat England, you know? Oh, can you hear me? Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, no, I was saying that the Duke's ball, when West Indies played against England in West Indies won that series, so it won't be as easy as it seems. I think I won't be surprised if West Indies probably win that series if the pitches are like the last time.
I do have a suspicion that the pitches are going to be spicy because I think the Windies are going to look back at that last series against England and what they did right, and they'll try and do the same thing against England and try and hit them with pace. And look, the England batsmen have been susceptible to pace, and we've seen this in the series as well. If you bounce, that's where they. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting series, eh?
Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear that last bit.
Yeah, I can see those wickets being quite spicy in between the Windies and England, because I think the Windies will look back at what they did right in that previous series and they'll want to replicate it. So they'll try and intimidate this England side with pace and bounce and see if they can cope. So it's going to be a crucial series for both teams, I feel.
Okay, so on a final note, what score do you think England will be wanting to chase against Australia? Not that I'm seeing them winning it, but let's say in an ideal world, what score do you think England could chase in that fourth innings?
I'd say anything between 250, 270 wouldn't be a bad score to chase. I think anything over 300, you can say game over, I would say.
Okay, I think I can concur with that, and I think that's pretty much a wrap. I think I'll see you soon.
Cheers, sir. Enjoy your weekend. Chat to you soon.